Hello and welcome back to another one of my FPL videos. I of course am the FPL Train, and in this video we're going to look at my team selection ahead of game week 21 in a week where I've only got one free transfer for this game week. Obviously I'm going to have Son gone now. He has gone to the Asia Cup, so that is a slight issue, but luckily, because obviously I don't own any African players, I haven't got that issue of having players going to the African Cup of Nations like Mohamed Salah as well. So I've only got one issue there, so it's not the worst thing in the world. So I could easily do that on my one free transfer, but I'm not actually looking at getting rid of Son. And obviously I'll reveal that as we're going through my team selection as to what I'm thinking about doing ahead of game week 21, which is going to be a week which is going to last nearly 2 weeks this game week. It's going to start this Friday with Burnley and Luton. What a great fixture that is. I think most people have only got that one player in, like Charlie Taylor. And then it's going to go right all the way up to Monday night, the 22nd of January, when it's going to be Brighton versus Wolves. So if you've got a Brighton and Wolves player you're thinking about bringing in who might have a knock, or a West Ham player, Bowen for example, who plays the night before, or day before should I say, then you've got plenty of time for them to actually rest and recover, for them to be fit for this game week. So you could gamble all those players because it's going to be a good chance that they're going to play, unlike, I'd say, Erling Haaland, which I'll get into in just a moment. But before we go through game week 21, let's look back on game week 20 and see how I got on. So then, as you can see on the screen, I did score a total of 93 points, which is really decent to be fair. Top 400k of the game week. Got a nice green arrow. Don't know Mo Salah, and I still got a nice green arrow, so I should be really happy with that. But if you look at my bench, I'm quite frustrated to be fair, and I will talk about it as we go through it. But first of all, let's talk about my goalkeepers. So, starting us off in goal, I went for Areola ahead of the Bradker, and for once, it worked out perfectly for me. So, obviously, the Bradker played first. He played against Liverpool, had an absolute storming game, even though he did concede 4 goals, but he made 10 saves in that game. Came away with 8 points overall, absolutely buzzing fat. He only got 1 bonus point as well, bear in mind, and he still came away with 8 points, conceded 4, no clean sheet. That is unreal, and I'm thinking, oh no, he's on my bench, I'm going to miss out on all those points, and Areola's going to get me 1 or 2. No, I was wrong about that completely, and the Brighton game with West Ham ended 0-0, and Areola himself made 8 saves, which meant he came away with 3 bonus points on top of his clean sheet. 11 points. For once this season, I've smashed it with the goalkeepers. That's the biggest haul I've got from a goalkeeper so far this season, so I've got to be absolutely buzzing about that, and I really am, to be fair. Thank God for that. With my defence though, I mean, not great really for my defenders, let's be honest. We'll talk about the ones on the bench first. So, Kieran Trippier was planned to actually start for me. He was injured against Liverpool, so I got really lucky there, to be fair. So that meant he obviously came straight onto my bench, so I got nothing from him. And obviously, if he did start, I probably would have got nothing from it anyway. So got away with that one. So thankfully, he went straight onto the bench. Charlie Taylor also got nothing, and he's also flagged up, to be fair, which isn't the best. But yeah, not a great game from him. Obviously, they conceded 3 goals. He got a yellow card as well, so nothing from him. But thankfully, both of them are on my bench. Shame Dizazi isn't as well. Dizizi, however you say his name. He also got me nothing, and this one's really, really frustrating. So Chelsea are 3-0 up. Clean sheet looks locked on for him. And then right at the end, they're going to concede 2 goals. And it could have been 3. It should have been 3, really. Luton should have drawn that game, but they didn't, unfortunately. And Chelsea did come away with a win. So absolutely shocking performance from him. And he got a yellow card as well towards the end. It went into meltdown right at the end, Chelsea did. It was so frustrating. I went from getting 6 points to nothing in a matter of 10 minutes. Couldn't believe it. So I got absolutely nothing from him. Tyreek Mitchell, really lucky of this guy. So he was my first on the bench in terms of defenders. Because obviously I only play 3 at the back. So that meant when Trippier came, well, we didn't play. That means Mitchell was the first defender to come on for me. And boy, was I lucky there. 6 points from Tyreek Mitchell. Obviously, he did concede a goal against Brentford, but thankfully, he did get an assist in that game, as well as a bonus point as well. So, 6 points, thank God for that. Really happy about that. Really did need that, because that was really helpful for my rank, obviously. So, yeah, buzzing about that. So, at least one of my defenders worked out, even though he weren't scheduled to start. And Gabriel, only the 1 point. This was quite surprising, really. Obviously, Arsenal went 1-0 up against Fulham, and we're all expecting it's going to be 2, maybe 3-0 to Arsenal. They lost 2-1, shocking performance. He didn't get a yellow card at least, I guess. But yeah, it was really surprising. Just 1 point a game from Gabriel. I've had him for 2 weeks, and he's got me 2 points. It's not been a great sign so far. Hopefully he bounces back. But yeah, Arsenal are on a rotten form at the minute, and yeah, shocking really. Just 1 point from him. With my midfield then. So, as you can see, my midfield did pretty decent, to be fair. All 5 of them did. So Douglas Luiz, if you watched my team selection for Game Week 20, you would have heard me say, I really want Douglas Luiz in my team, but I can't fit him in. I don't know how to fit him in. I couldn't take Palmer out, Foden, Saka, or Son, because all 4 of them had pretty decent fixtures, to be fair. Watkins is in great form. Obviously, Alvarez had a great fixture as well. The only person who I could have brought him in for was Solanke, because he did have a difficult fixture against Spurs. But the fact is, Solanke is in the form of his life. I just couldn't drop him, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. Solanke did not get any points. He did blank that game week, whereas Douglas Luiz, right at the end of the game, mind you, so it's the 90th minute, Aston Villa are awarded that penalty, and I'm just thinking, please be Ollie Watkins take it. No, Douglas Luiz took it, so then I'm kind of hoping he doesn't score it, just so I don't obviously feel like a tit for not playing him. He scores it, great penalty, gets the goal, and then they give him the 3 bonus points on top of that. 10 points overall, I couldn't believe it. So I missed out on 10 points. So instead of having, obviously, 101 points, I've ended up with 93 instead, which is a shame, because that would have been my first 100 point of the season. But it is what it is, unfortunately. I've just got to take what I got. But yeah, unfortunately, I missed out on them 10 points. Palmer absolutely smashed it for me. 18 points overall. Would have been even better if he was my captain. Unfortunately, he wasn't. But, came away with, what was it? A couple of goals. Not too bad, I suppose. An assist and 3 bonus points. I mean, the way it was going, I thought he was going to lose out on those bonus points with Luton's, obviously, goals. But, yeah, absolutely smashed it. 18 points overall. For a guy that's so cheap as well, 5.7 million. Absolutely killed it there. So, really happy with that. Phil Foden, I mean, at the time, I was absolutely buzzing my tits off for this. So, he got 24 points overall. He was my captain. I went for a differential captain. I could have gone for somebody else, like a Saka, possibly. I was thinking of maybe. Wish I went for Palmer, obviously. But I've got to be really happy with Phil Foden. It was a great fixture, Sheffield United at home for Man City. I just felt that they could do some... Well, I knew they could do something. It was just how many goals were they going to score? They only scored 2 goals. But Foden got 2 assists in both of those goals. So really happy with that. Got the clean sheet point as well. And then he got the 3 bonus points on top of that. Absolutely buzzing about that. Smashed it completely there, 24 points. It would have worked out even better, obviously, if Mohamed Salah didn't get the 32 points for everybody else, which was really frustrating to watch, especially because that second penalty definitely was not a penalty. I just feel like they were just giving Liverpool the goals, really. It's almost like the referee had him in his team as captain. That's how frustrating it was to watch. But, look, for a team that doesn't have Salah, to have got a green arrow anyway, I've still got to keep telling myself that's really good. I was going to say Mohamed Salah then. Saka, 7 points. I've got to be happy with that. From the way it was going, though, at the start of the game, obviously, he got the goal. I was thinking, you know what, here we go. Goal, 3 bonus points, buzzing, happy with that. Clean sheet point in the bag. Yeah, easy. That wasn't the case at all, obviously. I mean, Arsenal just disappeared, really, after. It was a hard watch. It didn't even look like they were going to score, to be honest. So, 7 points. I've got to take the 7 points. At least he got a return, obviously. Like I said, if he did get the bonus points, he would have the same as Douglas Luiz, but nah, it weren't the case. Just 7 points, but I'll take the goal. Son, last game I had for him for a while. I expected him to smash it against Bournemouth. He did, got a goal. Got a couple of bonus points as well. Didn't get the clean sheet bonus point, obviously, though, because Bournemouth did score. But, yeah, no, I'll take the 9 points. It would have been even better if he got the 3 bonus. But, look, I'll take the 2 bonus points. Gotta be happy with that. Kept him in my team right up to this point. And yeah, definitely happy with that. 9 points from him. And then strikers. I mean, I've just spoke about, obviously, Solanke. In the form of his life, I couldn't really drop him at a time like this. He scored 2 against Newcastle earlier in the season. He scored against Man United. He scored against Aston Villa. You just got to think, surely he's got a good chance of scoring against Spurs, who have some key defenders out injured. Wasn't the case. They did score Bournemouth, but he was off the pitch at that point, which was frustrating. So, yeah, I'm blank. It's his first blank for quite a while, to be fair to him. Like, game week 15 against Crystal Palace was the last time he blanked, so can't be too disappointed, really. So, yeah, just 2 points from him, which is a shame. Ollie Watkins, didn't score against Burnley, but, he got 2 assists, so I have to take that. Keeps getting the points in. He's not scored now since game week 17, but, I'll take those 8 points. Thank you very much. And then Alvarez. Now, I had one free transfer for this game week, and I brought in Alvarez for Darwin Núñez. Darwin got 5 points against, obviously, Newcastle. He should have scored in that game, though, to be fair to him. He didn't. He got just the assist. Whereas, obviously, Alvarez got the goal against Sheffield United, so got to be happy with that. Got extra points out of it. He got a bonus point, goal and bonus point. Happy with that. Even more so because I did have him down as my captain. But right at the last minute, I decided to change just in case he did blank. And obviously, if Man City did obviously not score but keep a clean sheet, at least I would have got 6 points from Phil Foden rather than 4 from Alvarez. So that worked out a real treat for me. So, like I said, 93 points. I've got to be happy with it, really. It's a green arrow, and that's what it's all about. It could have been better, but that's just FBL for you. But yeah, definitely take the green arrow and the 93 points then. Right then, so let's talk about my team selection for game week 21. Like I said before, I've only got one free transfer for this game week, and obviously I've only got one player who's gone off to the Asia Cup. Nobody's gone to the Africa Cup of Nations for me, so I'm not in exactly a terrible way right now. So I can actually afford to roll the transfer. But I'm still unsure. There is a player in there that I'd like to bring in my team for this game week. But I'm very undecided so far. But we'll talk about as we go through it. Starting us off, as you see, in goal, I've got Areola. Sheffield United away. Pretty obvious decision to go for him, to be honest. When Debraga's got Man City at home. Obviously, Debraga's just got 8 points against Liverpool. So he could do the same against Man City. Which is making me actually kind of think, to be fair. Because obviously, the game's at St James's Park as well. So something to think about there, whereas Areola's got Sheffield United away. On paper, this is such a better fixture. But the new manager at Sheffield United's got him looking a bit better, particularly at home. So it's not clear cut, but I'm going to go for Areola. But slightly, I'm edging it just because of the fixture. But the fact, obviously, you do get obviously more shots at you when you play the bigger team. So there's a better chance that he's going to get the save points to Braga. Whereas you're looking at Areola, he'll probably get like 2 shots at him. If he concedes 1, that's it. He's not getting any save points, and his clean sheet's gone. So that is something I've really got to consider. For now, it's Areola, but I could change the Brad curve. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I've got till Friday to decide, but for now, I've got Areola as my goalkeeper. With my defenders, then, it's a back 3, obviously. There's no point going for a 4 or 5 man, because at the minute, teams just aren't keeping clean sheets, are they? So back 3 is the best way to go right now. Currently, I've got Kieran Trippier playing. Got Man City. Tough game. Don't know if Trippier is even going to be back fit enough to play for this game. But for now, he's not flagged up. So I assume he is going to be fit for this game week. But I'm not confident about it, to be honest. It is this weekend as well. He's on a bad run of form, obviously. Newcastle are... I have thoughts about selling him, if I'm being honest. But honestly, it's a tough fixture, isn't it? Man City 21. Then it's Villa 22, which is also just as tough. But then after that, Newcastle do have quite a good run of fixtures going all the way up to pretty much the end of the season, if I'm being honest. Out of the top 6, right, they've only got to play now Arsenal in game week 26. We've got Spurs in game week 33 and Man United in game week 34. That is, that is really good, to be fair. So for that reason alone, it's making me decide now really to keep Kieran Trippier. If I wanted to get rid of him, I should have got rid of him in game weeks 20 when obviously he had Liverpool, then it was going to be Man City and obviously Aston Villa. So I might as well keep him now, because if Newcastle will finally turn things around, they could go on an excellent run towards the end of the season. So for now, I do think I'm going to hold on to Kieran Trippier. Dizazi is going to start for me as well. Fulham at home, hopefully he can keep a clean sheet against them, unlike Gabriel for Arsenal when he played Fulham. The fact that it's at Stamford Bridge, I'm kind of hoping. Am I confident? I mean, they've just lost against Middlesbrough in the League Cup, so am I confident? Am I bull? It's not even like he weren't playing against Middlesbrough, he was. So, yeah, confidence-wise, it's just gone down the pan, really. I mean, Chelsea are just terrible. Just terrible. That's the only thing to say about them. I'm not going to have any more than 2 Chelsea players in my team. I mean, as soon as this good fixture runs out for him, which is obviously the last one's going to be 24 against Crystal Palace, this guy's going to be gone because it's just been shocking, really. The guy's got me 1 clean sheet so far, and that was against Sheffield United, which was kind of felt guaranteed. It was at home as well. And then before then, if you look at Chelsea actually keeping a clean sheet, game week 7 was the last time they actually kept a clean sheet, which was actually coincidentally against Fulham. So hopefully they can keep a clean sheet against them again. So I'm going to keep my faith in him for this game week just because he has a better chance than normal to keep a clean sheet. And he's got obviously a better chance than obviously the likes of Charlie Taylor and Tyreek Mitchell. So my final starting defender then is going to be Gabriel. Now he's got Crystal Palace at home, and I said this before, Crystal Palace so far have been a real pain in the backside. They lose their games, but when they lose, they still score a goal, which is really frustrating when you've got a defender on the opposite side. They win the game, but they've conceded 1 goal because Palace have scored again. Obviously, Arsenal are on a bad run of form currently right now. I think they've now lost their last 3 games in a row. They lost in the FA Cup, and obviously they've lost now twice in the league. So they're not exactly doing very well, and obviously before that they did draw against Liverpool in the league, so it's not since game week 17 where they've won. So yeah, they're on a bad run of form. Hopefully they can turn things around in this game week, or even if they don't win, I don't care, as long as they keep the clean sheet, obviously, because I've got Gabriel at the back. So that is going to be my back 3 for this game week. Now, like I said before, I've got 1 free transfer. One of the options I am seriously considering is bringing in Estupiñán back into my team for Brighton. Brighton have got a great run of fixtures. They do have a tougher fixture in this game week. It's going to be obviously a Wolves at home. But after that, it's great. And they are going to be at home against Wolves. So it's not going to be the worst fixture in the world. Now, the player I'm thinking about taking out will be Charlie Taylor. I looked at taking, obviously, Trippier out, but I mentioned his fixtures. And then I also looked at Tyreek Mitchell. But when I look at his fixtures, he had a horrible run, and it looks like it's coming to an end, really. He does obviously have the likes of Brighton and Chelsea, who aren't green, well, classed as green fixtures, but they're not the worst fixtures in the world, and there's more green than anything else, well, from now to the end of the season for Crystal Palace. So it might be worth really keeping him, if I'm being honest. I have no plans to take out Gabriel. I feel like I need an Arsenal defender. Now, and obviously, I mentioned Dizazi. If I'm going to take this guy out, it's going to be in game week 25. That's when he's going to go. And really, I want to get in early on Estupiñán because Estupiñán, I'm guaranteed I've said that wrong. But anyway, I feel like he would be great to bring in. And obviously, I do bring him in. I take Charlie Taylor out, put Kieran Trippier on the bench, and then I'll have Estupiñán starting for me in this game week, which, to be fair, is pretty decent from the looks of it. So he is one of my options going forward, so particularly for this game week. So that is what I'm thinking for my defenders. So then on to my midfield. It's going to be a 4-man midfield again this week. Just the one change though, for obvious reasons. Son's gone off to the Asia Cup, so he's going to be gone now for quite some time. Now, I have thought about, should I sell him or not? Look, he's 9.8 million now, so if he goes down to 9.6 million, I think I bought him about 9.2, 9.3. Is it worth getting rid of him? I'm not so sure, to be honest. When he comes back, you're looking at around about the Wolves fixture, I'd say. I mean, I can't guarantee. He come back early as well. But the fixtures after that aren't exactly too bad. He will be playing the likes of Fulham and Luton, Crystal Palace. So I'd want him for those fixtures. I don't have Mohamed Salah, so I can actually just afford to leave Son on my bench while he's gone to the Asia Cup. And of course, there is quite a break in January from Premier League football. There's only like one more fixture in January after game week 21. So For now, I feel comfortable leaving Son on my bench. When my starting midfielders, I got obviously Phil Foden. He's got Newcastle away. It's tough on paper, but Newcastle, they have been leaking in goals. So I've got to say, I am quietly confident. And usually this time of year, this is when Man City just go on it. They just don't seem to lose. They absolutely smash it now to the end of the season. So now is the time to get your Man City players in. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne is back, so that could be an issue, really. Will Foden's minutes go down? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, I'm going to keep, obviously, Phil Foden in my team. Palmer, now he's got Fulham at home. He's a captaincy option, obviously. Now, I haven't got him down as captain. The reason being is the fact that he's going to be playing one of the first games of this game week. He's playing on the Saturday. If he blanks on the Saturday, I've got to then sit there for like a whole week watching probably other players score goals, waiting for players to possibly score goals. But he's high on my list on being a captain currently right now. For now, he's not there, but I could change my mind and have him down as captain. Obviously, like I've just mentioned, they did just lose to Middlesbrough, and he had quite a few good chances. So, yeah, I might change my mind and go for Palmer, and they might want to obviously react to that performance they put on against Middlesbrough. Douglas Luiz is back in the side. Look, Everton away. It's going to be a tough fixture, I reckon, this one. Not so confident. The only good thing about it is I do think, obviously, Aston Villa will have more of the ball. They're going to be in Everton's penalty box a lot more, and hopefully then that will mean Everton will put in a sloppy tackle. They'll get a penalty again, and Douglas Luiz will score. So I'm hopeful. It's not exactly the worst fixture in the world. The fact that it's at Goodison Park is going to be a bit trickier, but hopefully he can get something in this game. But I'm not actually overly confident, if I'm being honest. And then my final guy is obviously Saka, currently down as my captain. I've got him as captain just because, like I mentioned before, they've not won in like 4 games now. 3 in the league, lost 1 in the cup. They've got to bounce back. Should I go for Saka as captain? I mean, it's Fulham. No, it's not. Sorry. It's Crystal Palace at home. Fulham's game week 20. So it's Crystal Palace at home. Could he get a few goals? He could. It's definitely an option. Obviously, he doesn't play until the 20th of January as well. So I got a while to wait, which is probably more beneficial. Obviously, unless Palmer absolutely smashes it, then I would be frustrated. This is the problem with this game week. But yeah, he's currently down as my captain. But if I'm being honest, it's 50-50 whether it's going to be him or Palmer currently right now. But it's not the worst fixture in the world. Hopefully, he'll get a goal in this game. And finally then, that does bring me on to my strikers. Now, obviously, Alvarez is going to be in my team for this game week. I was thinking about taking him out for this game week, but I've decided not to because my original plan was to bring him in for Sheffield United at home, let him score a goal, and then take him out for game week 21 and bring back in Erling Haaland. Now, that was if he was going to be playing against Huddersfield. He wasn't even in the squad against Huddersfield. Now, if he was on the bench, I would be really considering about bringing him in. The fact that Haaland didn't make the bench now makes me go, not worth it. I'm going to leave Haaland out for one more game week and bring him back for game week 22. Because, I mean, if Man City were playing, let's say, around the time Arsenal were playing on the 20th, then yeah, I would probably bring in Erling Haaland. But the fact is, he plays on the 13th, this Saturday. Haaland might be on the bench, but that's not worth it to me. I'm not having 13.9 million on the bench. So for now, Erling Haaland's not coming in my team. I'm going to leave him out for one more week. I'm going to start Alvarez instead. So hopefully he'll do it. But obviously, Kevin De Bruyne is back as well, so his minutes will be a lot less once Haaland's back. So Haaland will start, and I assume so will De Bruyne, and then Alvarez will then drop onto the bench. So this will probably be the last game week I'll have Alvarez. Solanke, now this guy I am really considering about selling as well. He is one of the options, so it's either him or Charlie Taylor that will be coming out of my team, which might be a surprise because obviously Solanke, great form, but he's got Liverpool at home and then he's got West Ham away, not great fixtures. Then it's Forest in 23, we've got a new manager, which is going to be tough. Away to Fulham, he could get a goal there, and then it's Newcastle and Man City. And then after that, he's got a good run, which is game week 27. So do I want him right up to the game week 27? Not particularly. I think it might be a good time to get rid of him, especially as well. because quite a lot of people have now brought him in. He's 7.1 million. I brought him at 6.4 million. And the guy that I'm really considering about taking him out for is João Pedro. João Pedro is absolutely killing it right now for Brighton. He's scoring goals left, right and centre. He's started now the last 3 Premier League games for Brighton, which is obviously an added bonus. So he's definitely starting more games. He is on penalties on top of that. And the fixtures right up to game week 29 are absolutely amazing. So I could take him out around about game week 27, fine, bring back Solanke, and that just works out perfectly for me. He's 5.4 million. He is an absolute bargain right now. So yeah, for sure, it's either going to be Pedro in or Estupiñán. Now, obviously, Pedro is probably the more exciting pick, I would say, because obviously it's an attacking pick. And obviously, he's not really that highly owned. He's currently, let me just double check, 12.1% owned right now, whereas obviously Solanke is 27.6% owned right now. And obviously Estupiñán is 19.9% owned, so he's even higher owned than obviously João Pedro. And of course there is the fact that he could easily be dropped. You've got Danny Welbeck in the team. He seems to play most of the games as well. He likes to start a lot of games, come on. But he does get subbed off early. And obviously Evan Ferguson's an unbelievable striker, but he's not been starting. But don't be surprised if he does start and Pedro comes onto the bench going forward. But I'm really liking the look on Pedro right now. He is a minutes risk. That is obviously the biggest thing about him. Unlike the defender in Estupiñán, who's going to be starting, that's for sure. It's one of those. Do I go for Pedro or SD? And obviously, whichever one I go for, I can't go for game week 22 because I'm going to want to bring in Erling Haaland for game week 22. So it won't be until game week 23 that I bring in the second Brighton player, which is when they play Crystal Palace. But even then, after that, it's a nice run of fixtures. So it's a tough one, but for now, I've obviously got Solanke. But I mean, I've not made the transfer yet, so I could make 2 transfers in game week 22 instead. Because let's face it, Solanke, like I said, is in form. But Liverpool is going to be a tough fixture. The fact that it's at home, though, makes it a bit nicer for him. But that is how my team is going. Oh, I've not even mentioned Ollie Watkins, have I? So yeah, and finally I've got Ollie Watkins. Everton, it's going to be a tough fixture. It's away. He's not scored, though, since game week 17. Hopefully he breaks that duck in this game week. Tough fixture against Everton, but I do think he's got a good chance of scoring. And hopefully he will. But obviously I've got no plans at all, really, to take out Ollie Watkins because he's got a great run of fixtures now, right up to 28, I'd say, when it gets a little bit tougher. But yeah, he's a must-have currently right now. So yeah, that is how my team is going to look so far for game week 21. Like I said, big decision what to do with the Brighton players, whether or not I'd bring them in for this game week or not. But yeah, that is how my team looks for game week 21. Let me know what you think of this team. Let me know what you think I should do for this game week. Don't forget as well to like this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.